Yeah, so in previous clips, we spoke about the sections of the GAT verbal test. And then we said we have four main sections. The first one is the verbal analogy, then we have the contextual error, and then we have the sentence completion and the reading comprehension. In this clip, we will focus on some sort of a brief account of the verbal questions or the verbal analogy questions. Like, first of all, we have to know what's the meaning of verbal analogy. The verbal analogy is basically a comparison between one thing and another. They are typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. So you will be faced with two words that are somehow related to one another, just like the word big and small. This is a pair of words. Big and small are somehow related, so they are maybe antonyms or as what we call opposites. In solving the analogy questions, you have to think carefully and try to determine the analogy type and just ask yourself what's the relation between these two words before you get to choose the correct answer. And try not to panic because there will be dozens and dozens of difficult vocabulary. So you have to know a huge amount of words and use your own thinking and deductive skills in order to determine the relation and then take care of the sentence structure. So you have to know whether the word is like an affix, synonyms, antonyms. You have to know something that is related to cause and effect. So you have to know the parts of speech as well. I believe that because you have reached like grade 11 or 12 now, you are supposed to know all these things. However, if you don't know them, feel free to contact me at any time. I can explain it for you. So as we said before, the analogy is a comparison between two words or one thing to another for the purpose of explanation or clarification. When we solve the analogy question, we have to think carefully. You have to ask ourselves, what's the relation between these two words? So if there is some sort of like appear like pretty and beautiful, what's the relation between pretty and beautiful? Ugly and awful, what's the relation between ugly and awful? If there's some paired words like hungry and starving, what's the relation between hungry and starving? So in order to know the relations, I made this timetable for you. Feel free to contact me at any time and I can provide it for you. So we have many types of analogy. These are not the only ones. These are just some sort of a mere example of the types of analogy. Of course, you don't have to memorize all this. You just need to understand what this thing is about, what kind of relation between the two words. And in coming clips, we'll explain this chart briefly. So take care when you are solving the analogy questions and feel free to contact me at any time or DM me.